I'm Lacey J. I'm an entrepreneur who started a social media agency at age 22. Weird, I know. I've been niching it down and building it up over the last 11 years, and a long 11 years they have been. Being on social media so much is hard on my and my team's mental health, so we work to find routines, balance, and focus on ethics that keep us showing up authentically online. If you manage social media accounts and you feel confused, unfocused, or straight up wackadoo, welcome to the club. We meet here once a week. Welcome back. I'm so happy to have everybody here. Today, I'm excited to have Adrienne Harvey with me, lead senior digital strategist at Spry. Adrienne, it's been a big month for you this past month, and I could not wait to have you on the podcast to talk about the month that you've had. So can you start out by giving me just kind of a brief overview of, you work on tons of different social media channels. So tell me about the community that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, the community that we're going to talk about today. First of all, I love all my little communities, but this one is very special in that they are an aircraft manufacturer, and they're based out of Oregon, and they do a lot of really interesting and fun things. I've learned a lot about aircraft manufacturing, operations. There's a lot of intricacies in the industry itself. And so I've been working with them for 2 years. And so there's a lot of different pieces of their business that, when we talk about social media, you have to do your mission, your values, your goals, think about your audiences. So our client is very complex. So we have been basically building out lots of different stories and content for years. But what's very special about this client as well is that they do wildland firefighting, is one of their major business units. And so they do firefighting in Australia and in Greece and Italy and all over the world and in the United States. And so what's so fascinating about this client is that not only are they international, but they have a seasonality to them. And they are highly visible to people, during crisis. So if there's a big fire happening in Greece, let's say, actually right now there are lots of fires in Greece, we will be getting user-generated content, UGC. We'll just get tons of it, and people will send it to us from all over the world. They will post they will post their own pictures, their own photo videos, and they will DM us and they'll email us from all over. So we just get these kind of waves of content from very specific incidents. And then we get to share those. And that kind of really helps create a community, because people will see their own content being shared. They'll get excited. They also will, the people in the fields, the pilots, mechanics, those sorts of people, they also kind of, like, when they go abroad to work, they kind of have their own little communities of people. They have their own interpreters. And so they also kind of become kind of like little micro celebrities within. So we have like pilots, people would be like, oh my gosh, that's pilot so-and-so. I met him, because they're very like, anyway, so it's just a very kind of unique and special client that has been, could seem a little bit intimidating at first, because they also have like military contracts that are very detailed, and there's a lot of like level of kind of vagueness. It's hard to grow a social following around them. They also do R&D. There's just so many things that it can be a little bit just hard to wrap your mind around.
And I know you've been working with this client for about the past 2 years. And it's my understanding that in that 2 years, the community size across social media platforms has about doubled.
Yes.
And with there being such intricacies with the amount of user-generated content and the severity of the type of work that they do, with it being fires, that they're trying to put out, and a big part of that seems like it is a lot of pressure for you as a social media manager to coordinate all of that user-generated content and interface with so many different people, from the users in different countries internationally, to pilots, to the senior level staff in the organization themselves, other marketing people. So, I mean, that's a lot of pressure, but you've been able to really work alongside everyone there and grow that community by 100% over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So congratulations for that. And
thank you.
I'm very proud of you. It's been fun to watch you take on that role.
Yeah, no, it's a shout out to them. They are, we work very well together. I will say that with this client, the reason why we've flourished so much is that it's a great case study for having really clear processes, a clear and simple approvals process, and very clear instructions on, you can post anything, XYZ. However, here is the one thing that you have to get approval from a certain person on. So they have very clear instructions on what I can and can't post. Generally, my rule of thumb with all social is that if it's already published publicly, like on their website, on a public website, generally, and someone sends me something that's a user generated content piece, it's like, look at this helicopter, and they don't give any details about what they're doing exactly, then I will, work that into the content calendar. But we have a very clear process for what I can and can't post and what needs approvals. And it's very simple. There's not many layers too. So it's like I have to be very close to decision makers, and there's one decision maker or maybe two, but that's very clear instructions. And so that's a big reason why we've been so successful.
Makes sense. Without that kind of clarity and multiple layers of approval process, usually what happens is content gets dumbed down until it honestly serves no one.
Mm-hmm.
It may check the boxes that say that it's not going to get anyone in trouble, but it's also not valuable anymore.
Exactly.
So let's talk about what happened over the last 28 days or so that's kind of got you excited about this. Let's start at the top. What's the statistic that you hit that we've been having fun talking about?
Well, we got, as of now, I just checked it, we have 1.1 million reach over the last 28 days, which is enormous. It's, for me, it's the most I've ever gotten with any client, period.
And this is just on one platform. This is just on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. This is just on Facebook, not counting Instagram. Facebook is our most robust community. But I mean, all of them are popping off. They're all popping off. But just for example, in Q4 of 2019, the average organic, Q1 of 2020, sorry, I'll start there. Organic reach was 160K. Then we have 170K, next one, basically around 130K reach for 2020. 2021, we have organic reach of 136,000, 114, 143 is the average, is about.
And that's monthly.
This is average quarterly. Sorry.
So it's 100,000 per quarter, or it's an average per month of 100,000.
Sorry, average per month of 100,000.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So for 2020, we had an average per month reach, organic reach of 100,000 in 2020. In 2021, we had an average monthly reach of 144,000. That's still a lot of reach,
especially we're zero ad dollars, none.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just a reminder, reach is literally one person. So that's number of accounts we've reached on Facebook. That is not counting the impressions. Impressions are like times how many. And then so go from 140K to 1 million in 1 month. Then, so basically what happened is I've been, cooking along, posting things. I have my content calendar. And that's the other thing about social media and planning social media. You have your editorial calendar. We have all of these things planned out. We do have posts that are meant to support business goals that are, composed well ahead of time, but then I also do work in immediate posts and pieces, UGC, and then we also have pilots and mechanics and field people in the field. So we have crews of people abroad, and they will send me pictures. So they work for their employees, and they will send me pictures too. And those are so much fun because they'll have a selfie with them in front of this cool helicopter, and they always get like cool like cockpit pictures, and they just get very cool content as well. So but when I get those, I really want to work them in as quickly as possible, because the quicker that someone sends me something and they see that I post it the next day or in the next 2 days, that is like, oh, like she's responsive. Like if I send something, it will be posted. If I let it languish for 2 weeks, they're going to forget about it, and it's going to be trying to get them to send me more things later is going to be that much harder. So basically I was just cooking along. It's summertime. Fire season is going off, and we were getting a lot. We're getting a lot of interaction and people sending us stuff from Italy, Greece, and the United States. And so what happened is I've been posting some videos. People are sending me videos, and they're not like the best videos either. They're not like beautiful HD clear. They're not like edited. They're kind of like grainy little cell phone. They kind of have some jarring. They're not
but it's not like on a nice little tripod
dolly, yeah.
or even like a drone, beautiful drone video. No, we're not even needing that. Mm-mm.
It's like literally, it's like, imagine the movie Twister. They're like driving away from the fire, and they look up and they're like, oh my gosh, there's a helicopter coming. You pull over and they're like, have their cell phones. They're trying to like get it out. That's the kind of videos I get. Okay. And but I get so many of them and think like, oh my gosh, these people are like, care that much to pull over in the middle of an emergency, take a video of our helicopters and send them to us. And so it's just like, that is like, it makes me like, oh my gosh, like it makes me feel so amazing. Like, that's so special. And I mean, they should be taking pictures of helicopters is cool, but it in the grand scheme of things, an emergency, I'm just like, wow, you don't have to be doing this, but they are. And so I just want them to know that we appreciate this. So I've been sharing videos as I get them in. And this one video, it was actually a video from last season. Like somebody saw some of our helicopters and they were like, oh yeah, I have this video from last year that they emailed me, and they're like, oh, this was taken in 2021. Here's a location, etc. It was very basic. It was a helicopter. Basically they have a pump where they like hover and they like suck up water into their little tanks. It was very basic and routine, nothing incredibly it's amazing. They do amazing things. I'm not trying to downplay it, but it was definitely like just a day on the job for them. Anyways,
I think what you're identifying is it's not like somebody spent $2,000 to go out there and make a beautifully directed and produced brand video that you got. Okay. No, this is raw. It's from last year, but it's perfectly timely in what's happening right now.
Exactly. And so I posted a series of like 4 videos. The first one got quite a few views. The second one, after a week, all of a sudden the numbers, I think I even had like posted some things and I've been answering some things, and I don't really look at numbers very often. Like I don't even like, that's the thing, is I make sure I take care of the comments first. The numbers come later. I'm just like, all right, I want to see how we're doing this year. And I was so busy that I didn't even look at the numbers. And all of a sudden I saw 700,000 reach. What? And so I went and I looked, and there was this one video. It was this one video, the one that I was telling you about, and I was just like, holy cow, it went nuts, and it was just going nuts. And so I was just like, okay, well, we're 700,000 reach. I want to get to 1 million. I want to get to 1 million. And so I was like, how do I get to 1 million? And so I basically went into super aggro, video. I was like, videos. First of all, we're gonna get more videos. We have post more videos, and we got to strategically post them, and just try to get us to 1 million. So that's what I
Were
did.
they all posted as regular video posts on Facebook? Were any of them posted as Facebook Reels?
They were videos. They were
Yeah.
not reels.
Okay.
Yeah. And so there's a few things that I was gonna say about this kind of viral piece.
Yeah. Why did it go viral? If it's not that high quality, and what is it that you think made that one spike up?
Yeah. Well, what I've been basically talking about is timing, relevancy. The people of Greece are in the middle of fires. They're taking pictures of fires, and people they're taking pictures and videos of these helicopters and sending them to us, and we're posting them back. So they see themselves in the content, and then that makes them want to share it and get excited and be like, look at what's going on. Number one. Number two, what I've learned about the Greek culture recently is that they are very family oriented. And I think one thing that's very interesting that I didn't realize is that this country is full of small villages, little islands, but they are very tight knit. And so if there is a fire in like a little island somewhere, everybody is affected in that little island. And then anybody who is related to somebody in that little island is also it's like social media. We are all these networks, but they have very strong family networks. And so once something starts getting shared, just the number of people who share it and say, this is my uncle on this island, and then it's just very, very tightly knit. And then again, what that means timing. So like the content that I'm getting in, I am really trying to send out as quickly as possible. And this one, the timing was that, again, they're in the middle of a fire season. And so I didn't wait until, this December to be like, look at this fire, look at these things that we were doing this last, July.
which especially is a testament to what you said before about the approval process. That streamlined process allowed you to do that, when in many other cases with many other clients that we work with too, you can get that and it kind of goes in the queue, and it's got a long process to actually be forward facing to the community again. But what you've developed workflow wise has allowed you to be able to take advantage of that timeliness.
Yes, very nimble. Or spry, would you say?
So spry.
And then so once I saw this happening, I was just thinking, okay, what can I do to get as much reach as possible? Because we aren't about the reach, we're about like strategy and trying to talk to people and the human. But once I was like, all right, well, I really need to get as many eyeballs on this as possible, that really opened me up to I was just like looking at the tools that Facebook provides. If you go into a on the newsfeed and you know which posts you want to research, you can go and see how many shares it got. So there's one piece that had a lot of the highest reach. I had 150 shares, I think. And so you can click into that there's a little button on the right hand side, and it'll show you who shared it. And so I clicked into that and I started just looking at who shared it. I would comment, I would like it, depending on who, because it'll tell you like this person shared it and it got like 1 like. If it was like very like minimal, I wouldn't really worry about it. But then I realized that there's a bunch of Greek firefighting agencies that shared our content. There was a Greek firefighting Facebook page or community, a group that was sharing it. And so there was these kind of big aggregate places on the internet that were sharing our content. And I was just like, aha. Also, they all talk and speak and write in Greek on those places. So I did a lot of Google Translate, but what I did is from there, anything that I posted that was from Greece on our page, I then DM'd to them directly and just said, oh, this happened yesterday, or this is from the island of, this is from Athens, this is from this. And they just repost it, and they have like a few of these have like, 50,000, 60,000 followers. And so then that just made it go up even farther.
It just makes me so happy because from a presence management perspective, it's so validating that all the little things about looking and seeing who shared, commenting on those shares. It's just like if you were in a room full of people and you shared a video and you shared it on the screen and somebody turns to their person and says, "Oh my God, did you see this video?" And then you can actually say, "Thank you for sharing that with them. Let me know if you need any other information." It's real human contact happening on this larger scale. I'm just so happy that you took all the tools that we have and we know how to use and really implemented them. It's hard work. It takes effort, like real time and effort for you to DM those people after you do it. It takes real effort and that's not easy.
No, but we're doing it with integrity, and after this has happened, and now that we've been working with this client for 2 years, I mean, they really trust us. They trust us when we say we had 1 million people reach us on Facebook, and then they're saying, "Oh, somebody in the field or somebody that I even," they'll have other people from other that work in the industry but work in a different company. They're like, "Oh yeah, I saw you on Facebook." And so they start hearing from other people about what we're doing, and it's not spammy. It's just honest to goodness hard work.
You sound like your dad.
Oh my God, I know. But yeah, it's done. It's done. You can't really, I don't know how you would use a robot or AI to do this, to do what we're doing, because it takes a certain level of discretion, a certain level of a cultural awareness. We also have people in Korea. We have a whole Korean audience, and there's certain things you have to consider there as well. Again, there's American audience. There's also, on top of everything else, there is a little bit of a nuance in between in firefighting. The firefighters on the ground, the men and women and people that are on the ground doing the thing with their hands, bare hands. Well, they probably have gloves, but God. But the firefighters on the ground are working hard, and then the people from the air, the fixed wing, yes, the helicopters and the airplanes going to come in and save the day. So there's a little bit of a tension sometimes because the news is always just like, "Oh, the airplanes came to save the day." And then, if you don't talk about the people on the ground that are also, so there's a little bit of a tension in between within the community of firefighting itself. So you also have to be careful when you're talking about how awesome we are and how much work we did and how much we did to prevent disaster. You also have to be considerate for everyone that has participated in the effort. So
it's like how Abby Wambach in her book Wolfpack says, and when you score a goal, you better be turning around and pointing at the people who passed it to you, at the rest of your team.
Totally. Yeah, it is a team effort. So it's a really cool client. And you know what? We rarely get trolls too. It's hard to be mad at a helicopter.
And I heard myself earlier when I was just saying how happy I was that you were doing this, and it felt a little wrong when it came out because there's this destruction that's happening at the same time. So I guess I want to balance or rephrase that. I think what I really am feeling is a sense of pride, because it is such a big responsibility to take on this kind of presence management, being able to look at this community that has such a big responsibility to save and preserve land and people and property, and manage it with the kind of intentionality and grace that you and the rest of the team has done. So I'm very proud of the responsibility that you've taken on and the way that you've been able to humanize their or help humanize their community. And it shows in the kind of results that you're getting.
Yeah. No, it's really awesome. And you know what's wild is we get pictures from people from like years ago, decades ago, and they'll say, "Oh, I saw one of your aircraft back in 1994, and here's a picture of me." And you know, back in, I mean, this company, they've been gone through lots of changes. I mean, a lot of things change since 1994, but you know, it's just kind of this an amazing realization of like the power of a brand and the power of being approachable online. If you make a welcoming place, you will be shocked at how many people come and tell you so many things. I have this fellow from Brazil who is making a model of one of our aircraft, and he just shared with me like 100 photo album of like step by step all of these, like his step by step process, like cutting out the wood, making the measurements, making sure it's to scale, painting it, all this, and he doesn't speak any English. He's doing all of this through Google Translate, and he's putting all this work in to send this to me. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so awesome.
So it feels like, it does feel like an honor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It's very cool. I like it a lot.
So somebody like you and like the rest of us at Spry who really are not so numbers driven, you know, we're not really driven by things like hitting a million mark very often. Why do we care right now? What is this million reach in 28 days? What does it actually do for you as a social media manager? Why do you care? Why does the brand care?
A few things. Number one, you know, we aren't about numbers, but the people at the top, CEOs, C-level, C-suites, the sea breeze, I don't know, they they like numbers. That's how they make business decisions. They want to know the ROI on the things, and we can tell them, you know, the ROI on social media, and we can explain it to them, and we can you know, do our like interpretive dances and tell them about how important it is. And it is important, but there is a level of accountability where you can show them numbers, and we do show numbers. We do report numbers as Spry. We just don't make it, we don't react to it. It's not a knee-jerk reaction. We're all about the strategy and just moving forward. Anyway, but with something like this, I entirely reported it immediately to my marketing team and let the leadership know. And they were super excited about it. But it also, you can point to all the work that we've done 2 years. So we've been working with them for 2 years. That's 2 years of chugging along and laying the groundwork for this. Like something like this doesn't happen just overnight. You're not going to like start a Facebook page and then, you know, start creating a community of people sending in UGC in a month or 2 months. I mean, you might, but there's a lot of other resources that go into this. So this kind of shows you like, okay, we've been steadily moving towards this, and we hit this pocket, this like lucky pocket. And so we're going to have a big increase right now. And so that proves out that, you know, doing it again with intention and integrity over the long term actually makes it so that you are prepared when something like this happens.
Yeah. Very validating.
The other thing that, you know, all of these numbers, you know, all this reach, will show is that it also is not just about like, you know, making sales, because I mean, you know, it is about making sales, but at the same time, it's a huge morale boost for people who are internal. When we say we got 1, you know, million reach, we have all these eyeballs, everyone who works there says, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yay. How can I help? Can I take pictures? What do you need? It's a great motivator to get my teams and people that are out in the field to keep on sending me good stuff. So that's another great reason to have these numbers and be able to say, hey, here's what's happening. And I will also say that like putting it in perspective. I definitely put it in perspective. I didn't just say we reached 1 million, yay, because what does that number even mean? If you say, okay, hey, on average, we get 100 to 200,000 reach a month. And this month we got 1 million. So that's a huge increase. So anyway, yeah.
I love that you kind of bring it back around the numbers, you bring them back around to the human element and the strategic element. You're like, number one, this is important because it validates our long-term strategy. Number two, it's important because it gets the humans more involved. It makes the humans more invested.
Exactly. The third thing I almost forgot to say, I've been getting so many requests for, how do I work? How do I work there? I want to work for you. I want to work. All these people that want to work for us now, all around the world, people that are just like, I'm in Ecuador. When are you going to like work here? And I'm just like, well, so again, and in that case, the streamlined response to that is we have a very robust careers page. The HR team, it has a great careers page. So I just say, that would be awesome. Here's our careers page. Check out if there's anything that you would fit with. So that's huge too. I mean, that's another, like for HR, that's a metric where I could literally count up, like, we have had in the last 3 days, 10 people reach out to me personally and say, I want to work for you. So that's another.
I've actually heard more and more people who come to us looking for social media help for that being one of their primary objectives is I want to look attractive to new talent.
Yeah.
Through their social media presence. Like so often people come, I want to make X number of sales. I want to make X number of sales. But to be honest, over time, over the last year, 2 years, the number of people who have come where one of their primary objectives is I want to use social media as a recruitment tool, it's increased exponentially.
Yeah. Well, and also in this specific industry where it is so specialized, like the recruiting is kind of cutthroat for pilots with very specific certificate, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it does become their HR department is very important because they literally have to have people with very specific qualifications because of the FAA, because of safety, because of all these things. It's very serious. It is a very serious industry. I mean, people can die if, this is like, it's not I mean, not that being on social media isn't like dangerous for your mental health, but we're not flying around and
the robots aren't like coming out of the computer at us right now.
No, we're not. We can literally lay in bed and do our job. Whereas, pilots have to be in really top physical condition. Anyway, but no, I mean, for this specific industry, it is very important to look attractive to the best of the best. And what's also interesting is that poaching is a problem. So there's also this kind of tension of just like talking about your people, but also like on LinkedIn, there's a little bit of be careful about who you talk about because people will try to poach them. But anyway.
Well, thank you for coming and talking to me about this. It's been fun to kind of watch. As soon as you hit that 700,000 mark too, you kind of pinged us and we're like, I'm going for this, y'all. And it was fun to cheerlead alongside you and get the little updates every couple days on how it was doing. And all of us who are managing little social media communities all over the world can learn from just your ability to set a strong strategy from the beginning, to develop a good workflow, to chug along, and to be mindful of noticing these outliers and how you can capitalize on them. So great job. And thank you for coming to share it with me today. I appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. I am happy to be here, Lacey.
Hey, if you're looking for ways to build your foundational social media strategy skills, we've got a course for that. I worked with Adrienne Harvey, who's the lead digital strategist at Spry, has a master's in digital media, and has worked in digital marketing for over 10 years to create this course.
The course is called Social Media on Purpose, and it takes all of the lessons we've learned over our combined 24 years in the industry and distills them down into bite-sized lessons for you to enjoy. If you're interested, check it out at thinkspry.com/courses. Also, we're kind of cute and funny if that's important.
All right. Have a great rest of your day. And everybody who came to listen, you can find Adrienne on LinkedIn, Adrienne Harvey on Instagram, or through our Think Spry social media channels. We tag her all over the place.
Yep.
Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Social Media with Lacey J is brought to you by Spry Social Media Marketing. Edited and produced by Chad Hinman. And executive produced by Lacey J. Fott.